Welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of September 9th, 2019. Every week we chat about the things parents are talking about, complaining about, and obsessing about right now. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
And Nicole Aradix.
Hi there.
This week we're complaining about surprise bills and obsessing about awesome ways to embarrass our kids, plus taking a couple of breaks for an entertainment discussion and a recommendation roundup. But today we are going to talk about Weight Watchers. Last week we complained about sharing a kitchen with people who have different priorities and preferences than we do. And Terry and I have both mentioned before that we are Weight Watchers users.
Yes.
So now Weight Watchers, or WW, are we supposed to call it that?
We're supposed to call it WW now, Oprah says.
Dub.
Yes.
It's taking some heat because it came out with a version of its program that was aimed at kids. So that was probably a bad idea.
Yeah. That's one of those things that makes you wonder about the board meeting at which that was decided and who thought it was a good idea.
Right.
It's just, you had to know you were going to take some flack for it. And it sounds like there were things that they could probably do to make it less that way that they did not. I mean, do not have before and after photos of children. And, you know, I have really liked a lot of WWs, which is ridiculous, but not as bad as Marriott Bonvoy, so I'll let it slide. But, you know, on their Facebook and on their Instagram, they're all really, really, really into lifestyle, and that's, you know, that it's just all about learning how to eat in a healthy way, and I like that, and I do think that's a large part of the Weight Watchers program and why it's been successful for me. So I was trying to talk my daughter into maybe looking at it, and I said, go look on their website, figuring it would be all sorts of good lifestyle-y, not big emphasis on weight. And you go to their website and it's still I lost 100 pounds. You know, they got to pick a lane, I think.
Yeah.
You know, are they going to be about watching your weight and losing a ton, or are they going to be about finding healthy ways to eat and being positive and affirmative in the way that you approach food? You know, both those things have their uses, but I don't think that I think you have to pick one, and they really have not. So this thing with kids, I think, is a symptom of that. That right. They're talking like it's going to be about teaching kids to eat healthy, but they're still putting it in a weight loss package. You know, it's
pretty dangerous
too bad.
Ground. I mean, it's a fine line, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, it's definitely true that weight is a problem for children and young adults and teens. And there's no really good way to address it, because however if you try to approach it, you're a terrible person trying to make them have eating disorders. And at the same time, you know, there are points at which it could be a health risk. Presumably your pediatrician is going to say something, but they don't want to be the bad guy either. So I don't know. Weight Watchers has been very successful for me in terms of losing weight. It has been fairly unsuccessful for me in terms of maintaining weight, because I start to resent paying the money every month when I did what I wanted to do and I know what to do, so I quit, and then I slowly gain the weight back again, and then I have to go back on, and they welcome me with open arms, and all my recipes are there and everything, and all my history. But it's part of their trying to broaden this and make it a lifestyle thing and make it something that can cross all the ages. I would love to see them do something that reinforces healthy eating away from the weight loss part that would appeal to people on maintenance. Because once you make your goal, you want to celebrate it, so they should give you something. I think they should cut the monthly cost. If the monthly cost got cut, I would stay.
Right.
And then you know that if you gain weight, you'll have to pay more. That would be a motivator for me. But of course, then I suppose you could just lie.
Isn't that about, I thought that was kind of how it worked.
I don't think so. It didn't work that way the last time. But, or at least give me like 1,000 of those points that they're letting you use on something. You know, there should be some reinforcement to keep you with it, to keep being healthy in your food choices. instead of just going solo again. That would be, I really wish they could find some way to do that. I don't think that they have, because I have honestly gone through this quit and then rejoin cycle more than twice.
Right.
Possibly more than 3 times.
Well, and I just haven't quit yet because I'm afraid. Well, because I feel like that's what's going to happen, you know?
Yes, it always happens.
I reached my goal and then I changed my goal so that I wouldn't be done. So I changed my goal and I still haven't met the new goal. Like, I just dance around it, which I have been for months. So
yes, that's annoying also.
You know, it doesn't seem to have a huge connection. Like, I could, you know, be really conscientious about my points and about, you know, staying within my points and tracking everything and logging everything and still gain like a pound or half a pound. And then the next week I could be like, whatever, and, you know, just kind of
take it a little easy and then lose. Like, it seems to just be like every 3-ish weeks I might lose a half a pound.
Yeah. Based on my experience, I think there's 2 things. One of which is the effects of 1 week are not necessarily felt that week or at the next weigh-in. They maybe take a week or 2 to build up momentum and to be seen. So it's like Dancing with the Stars. You know, you're getting eliminated based on what you did a week ago. And also, sometimes I think exercise, especially if you're a fairly small person, exercise may make you gain weight. And that's extremely discouraging.
Yeah.
At least in the short run, it does. At least in the weekly weigh-in, it does. And it's like, I stayed in my points and I exercised and I got all these extra points and I didn't use them and now could I have gained weight?
Yeah.
So it's really discouraging. So they maybe need to explain that more. I think the program is humongously easy to use. I mean, I was on it back on the days when you had so many fruits and you had so many proteins and you had so many this and that and you had to construct your day based on that. The points is much easier. I like it. And it does effectively work for me. I do lose weight on it every single time. I just don't keep it off.
Right.
Because I leave.
Yeah.
They need to find a way to keep me. What can they do? How could they bribe me? They need to think in terms of bribes to keep us yo-yo people paying our monthly fees.
I just can't get into the food tracking. I just find it so tedious that I end up like I find that I just can't input that food tracking. So if they're dealing with kids, I mean, I couldn't imagine a child stopping to plug in there.
It would have to be an obsessed child, which is the problem.
Well, and I think maybe their thought is like, you know, kids are online all the time. It's sort of like a gamification kind of deal. But I don't think it's a really fun game.
No.
That was definitely one of my big hurdles to start it. That I do not like food tracking.
Yeah. Well, they do have another one that you don't have to track, but then you have to just only eat the certain foods that are on their list. And I've never tried that one because I find for me, psychologically, tracking is what works for me. It makes me accountable. And that's that's why I always go off it. You know, I gain weight when I go off it because I no longer have that accountability of both the monthly fee, which I have to get my money's worth from, and the easy tracking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the app definitely makes it easy to track. And because has so many users, you know, everything you want is usually in there, you know, whether it's something from like a chain restaurant or any kind of food. If you scan the barcode, any packaged food, you scan the barcode and somebody's done the work already of plugging in all the numbers.
Better and better over the many times I've been on it. It just keeps getting. Well, the only thing I can't seem to search my recipes on the website. I don't understand why that doesn't work, but that's a small thing.
I don't even use the recipes.
Usually, I use them.
Once in a while I use the recipes, like if I'm like, I have 1 million, you know, cucumbers from my farm share or whatever, then I might.
Oh, I don't mean their recipes. I mean,
I know, like
when my husband cooks something, I put the ingredients in and then I figure out how many servings it is.
Right.
Which is basically how many points do I want it to be. It's that many servings.
Yeah.
I try to make it about a cup.
Does your Montreal spice count for anything?
It does not. Montreal spice seasoning would be a free food.
Oh.
The other day, my husband, he's so helpful. He was making this chicken chili, and I looked at all the ingredients in the chicken chili, and they were all 0 points. And I thought, wow, this is going to be like a 0-point dinner. And then he said, oh, by the way, I got breaded chicken tenders for that. Is that okay? I'm like, no. Wrong.
I thought you were going to say that I topped it with, a pound of cheddar cheese or something.
Yeah. I know he's famous for that. Just with after I've gone through and painstakingly figured out the number of points, he goes, oh, by the way, we're putting cheese on top. Is that okay? Or I just poured some spaghetti sauce in there to go along with the crushed tomatoes that were 0 points. That's not a problem, is it?
That's when you're like, nope, that's the emotional points that we talked about last week.
Right.
Like, someone else is making this. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That you get credit for, eating what your husband cooks.
Exactly.
And being happy about it. Right. But I do wish there was a way to, maybe what they need is not a food app for kids, but an app for moms to plan their kids' food. Mm-hmm. So that it would be just the mom doing it, and it would say, my kid eats this for lunch. How terrible is that? And it would say, very terrible. Right. How about this instead? And then you would say, well, my kid won't eat that. What else you got? Next. And eventually you would come up with something that was sort of nutritionally satisfactory, and the kid would not have the weight of having to plan and play that themselves, but you could have some nutritional guidance, because it's hard to know as a parent,
Mm-hmm. Well, and then it goes back to what we were talking about last week, where both parents or whoever's doing the shopping and the cooking has to buy in as well. Right. I mean, like an app that the mom would use would be awesome, but I can just see in my house how that would fall apart as soon as I was not the one that went to the store. So
there would have to be some sort of gamification of it that you could get your spouse could play it and get rewards for planning and shopping correctly.
Yes.
Supermarket sweep game.
Yeah.
How many low-fat foods can you gather? But then there's also, I know one of the raps on this Weight Watchers app was that they're making the wrong nutritional choices, that they're saying non-fat, but in fact some fat is good, and yet you can listen to something else and they'll say just the opposite. I was listening to a podcast the other day, somebody was going on and on about this thing being good, this thing being bad. It's like nobody agrees.
Yeah.
So as a parent, you're trying to be healthy for your kid, you're trying to steer your kid towards healthy choices, you're trying to steer yourself towards healthy choices, and it's like, I don't know. Maybe in 5 years they'll find Cheez-Its are good for you.
I do really think it depends on the person too. I think some people's bodies just really respond to high protein, low carb, or some people, respond better to more carbs and less fat or whatever it is.
Yes.
I did this project where I edited all of these articles that were about all different kinds of diets, from Mediterranean, which isn't, a commercial diet. It's just a way of eating, all the way to super crazy, cabbage soup or whatever. And, there's just, it works. This thing works for some people and that thing works for other people. And there's basic consistencies fiber is good and vegetables are good.
Yeah. It's difficult. I wish pediatricians would just sit your kid down and say, this is what you should eat, and this is the punishment you're going to have if you don't do it. Take it out of our hands,
Well, I feel like this topic could easily take up, way more time than what we have, because there's so much to unpack with it. Yes. And then of course, the more we talk about food, the hungrier I get.
Yes.
So. talking about diets is kind of
cheese cracker sandwiches in my pantry.
No. Yeah, so I'm going to end it right here.
Yes.
before we do anything that we're going to regret. That's it for today's round 1. Tune in tomorrow for our entertainment-themed round 2 and later in the week to find out what we're complaining about, obsessing about, and recommending right now. We're always interested in what you have to say, so drop us a comment on our website, our Facebook page, or Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chats.